I live right now with purpose, peace, and integrity. I could only have dreamed of living this life or be this man maybe 10 years ago. I don't lie, I don't cheat, I don't steal, I don't drink, I don't drug. I don't even speed, okay? Listen, I can't afford to make mistakes, okay? And that's why I love to do these events. Even more than I like to do Jersey Shore. When someone is running a race, do you ever see, if you look to the right of you, you're probably gonna trip, right? If you look behind you, you're also gonna trip. But if you concentrate on your own steps, put one in front of the other, you got a shot. And it's not a cliche to say one day at a time, it's not. And just like I said about the race, if you look too far ahead, you're gonna trip. So I take it one day at a time. I wanna be the best version of myself one day at a time. And for many years, I knew that it was gonna be a long road, but I was fine with it. I said to myself, one day, I will love myself enough. Because in early recovery, that's something that we don't do. We're a little upset with ourselves. We're a little maybe depressed how this happened to us. And I said, one day I will be happy and proud of myself. No, my early slogan was Gym Tan Meeting. I went to the gym, I did a spray tan, and I went to a meeting. That was my schedule for a very long time in recovery. And I really kept it basic because in early on recovery, we're overwhelmed. We really are. So I kept it to small victories. If I went to the gym and I went to a meeting, it was a success for me. And I did that one day at a time. I did not get off that road until months and months later when I was able to handle the more stresses of life. I worked on paying bills and I worked on being a better person. And it's all in steps, but the main thing is not getting off the road. But I do love to practice mind, body, spirit together. I'll be honest, I hated everything about it. I didn't like the people, I didn't like the counselors, I didn't like the food, and I didn't like where I slept. But what you need to take away from that is that I was unhappy with myself. So therefore, I'm not gonna like anything, of course. I'm upset that I'm in this particular situation, no pun intended, and I don't know how I got there. Eventually, I had to come to grips that, something needed to change. I did 60 days of inpatient treatment, and then I was also suggested to do outpatient. which, I'll be honest, I didn't want to do that either, but I did it anyway. They also suggested that I do one-on-one treatment after outpatient, which I also did for an additional 3 months, which the total amount of treatment came out to be about a year. And to be honest, sitting back almost 3 years later now, I thank God that I did it. I thank God that I took the suggestions. I thank God that I didn't give up. There were many, many times, actually months, maybe even years, that there were dark times. And at the end of the day, these dark times were from the wreckage of my past. I heard that a lot in recovery, and I'm like, what the hell are they talking about, wreckage of the past? Actually, that means all these shitty decisions that you made when you were using for a very long period of time eventually have to be faced. Eventually. And that's where it comes in, where you do the next right thing, even when bad things are happening. You knock down these challenges every single day. One day at a time you take it, and you knock down the challenges and you move forward and be the best person that you can be. You deserve that. I had a lot of dark times in the beginning of my recovery, and I didn't have a lot of money, I didn't have a lot of resources, a lot of negative things were happening to me, and I was like, how can I better myself? How, what can I improve on? And like anything possible, anything. So I started, and it cost $0 to be a kind person. It costs $0 to be a good person. So I realized I can be a good person. I can be a loyal boyfriend. I can be a good son. I could be a good brother. And I started there, one day at a time. It was that simple. And I never got off the road of recovery. a lot of times, which I've made the mistake in the past, that I got off the road of recovery. I decided, I can have a drink now. I could probably just smoke some marijuana, it will be okay. Eventually I did that and made those mistakes, and it led me right back to my drug and choice. I had to understand who I was as a person, and I have an obsessive personality. I have to get to the root of it. And I have to say, okay, I have to change those negative behaviors to positive ones. And that's what I did. Appreciate that.